week's report with an amateur radio TV event you won't want to miss. Two high-flying hams taking a walk together in space. And K9 AWM has those details. To have live coverage on Friday, the 26th of June, and again on Wednesday, July 1st, as NASA astronauts Robert Beacon, KE-5, TTX, and Chris Cassidy, KF-5, International Space Station to replace batteries on one of the ISS power channels. It's a power upgrade that swaps out the old nickel-hydrogen batteries with lithium-ion batteries that were delivered last month to the station on a Japanese cargo ship. There will be a news briefing on June 24th at the Johnson Space Center in Texas before the two spacewalks take place. The live broadcasts of the walks will be seen on NASA television and the agency's website, and it's expected that the walks could last as long as 7 hours. Chris is the commander of Expedition 63 and will be identifiable by the red stripes on his spacesuit. Doug joined the crew in May following the historic launch of SpaceX's Crew Dragon Endeavour spacecraft. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Andy Morrison, K9AWM. There are even more happenings above the Earth, and this one concerns the Sun. Kevin Trossman, N5 PRE, explains. With all our eyes on the Sun and the first twinklings of Solar Cycle 25, it appears we're getting some big help into solar insights from the Solar Orbiter that was launched earlier this year by the European Space Agency from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. On Monday, June 15th, the orbiter was reported to have made its first perihelion, the point in the orbit that is closest to the Sun, in its mission to capture detailed imagery. In this case, that distance is 77 million kilometers, or half the distance between the Sun and our Earth. Although the Parker Solar Probe, launched in 2018 by NASA, makes approaches closer to the Sun, it does not have telescopes to capture such direct imagery. The Sun Exploring Spacecraft, a joint venture between European Space Agency and NASA, has 10 scientific instruments on board, including 6 telescopes, to help with its 9-year mission. A posting on the ESA website said that the images are to be released in mid-July and are described as the closest images of the Sun to ever be taken. Scientists hope the probe will gather additional details about solar winds, flares, magnetic fields, and atmosphere. It will also attempt to capture the first images of its polar regions. For Amateur Radio Newsline, N5 PRE. Although there's always excitement in space whenever astronauts talk to school kids back home on Earth, there's been some space-related excitement down here as well recently, and Paul Brown, WD9 GCO, tells us why. There's a new independent organization in the United States that will be connecting students with the astronauts aboard the International Space Station via ham radio. Part of its name might sound familiar. The group is called ARIS USA, the nonprofit ARIS, with which it will continue its collaboration on some projects. ARIS USA's main mission is to arrange astronauts contact with students via amateur radio and to encourage education in science, technology, and math. Its new status now makes it eligible for proposals for future ISS contacts. USA's Frank Bauer said that the move to an independent organization from a working group will also allow the entity to apply for grants and to sign agreements. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Paul Brown, WD9 GCO. Back home on Earth, hams are starting their engines in connection with some high-profile motor racing. For those details, we turn to Jack Parker, W8ISH. Members of the W9 IMS Special Event Station at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway are gearing up for their traditional Race Week special event. With the COVID-19 virus threat looming over the world, IMS track officials postponed the May running of the Indianapolis 500 race. As race so did the W9 IMS Special Event crew. Here's the new lineup. Starting Monday, June 29th, W9 IMS kicks off their 2020 Special Event Station. This event will be a doubleheader combining the IndyCar Grand Prix and the NASCAR Brickyard 400. The Grand Prix will run on Saturday, July 4th, and the Brickyard will run on Sunday, July 5th. W9IMS will be on the prior to the doubleheader taking check-ins. Look for them on 80 through 6 meters. According to Bill Kennedy, WY9T, each contact will receive a QSL card for that race and be eligible for a special certificate commemorating all 3 races this year. Check the W9IMS QRZ page for more information. From Indianapolis, reporting for Amateur Radio Newsline, this is Jack Parker, W8ISH. Dayton Hamvention and CPAC aren't the only major amateur radio events to have found a way to keep activity alive, even with the big events cancellations. Ed Durant, DD5LP, tells us about the latest creative alternative. The renowned Bavarian Contest Club's buffet evening at Ham Radio Friedrichshafen will offer different menu options this year. Since all large events, including Ham Radio Friedrichshafen, have been cancelled by government order until the end of August under pandemic laws, the BCC buffet cannot take place, but amateurs are still being offered a full serving of on-the-air activities on Friday evening, June 26th, the date the dinner would have been held. Instead of a 3-course meal, 3 30-minute sprint contests will be served up on 80 metres. The first, starting at 19:30 UTC, will be for CW contacts, followed by SSB and ending with RITI. So what's for dessert? The Bavarian Contest Club is hoping that hams who have enjoyed a full front evening on the air might consider membership and be present when next year the BCC buffet dinner and ham radio returns to Friedrichshafen. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Ed Durant, DD5LP. It's time to pack your virtual suitcase and prepare for a virtual journey that will take you to the first QSO Today Virtual Ham Expo this summer. The venue may be virtual, but the hams and the expertise and support they are offering are very real. The QSO Today podcast, hosted by Eric Guth, 4Z1UG, has already lined up such well-known speakers as Glenn Johnson, W0GJ, to discuss the expeditions, Ward Silver in 0AX to talk about grounding and bonding, and John Fortune, W6NBC, to explain building slot antennas in an HOA environment. This free 48-hour event on August 8th and 9th is a first for the popular QSO Today podcast Eric hosts weekly. The virtual platform allows attendees to interact with exhibitors via chat, video, audio, and true to the Ham Expo experience, it will also feature an exhibit hall with booths as well as an auditorium for speakers. Although the expo will be live for 48 hours during the 8th and 9th, it will also be accessible for another 30 days as an on-demand event. For additional details, visit QSOTodayHamExpo.com and then make sure your smartphones, tablets, and laptops will be charged up, as you are likely to be there for some time. The organizers of Dayton Hamvention have announced some leadership changes as plans get underway for 2021. The board of the Dayton Amateur Radio Association announced on Twitter that Rick Allnut, WS8G, is the new general chair, and Jim Storms, AB8YK, is the new assistant general chair, the position formerly held by who want him on the air. Jim is well known in the DX world and is a co-founder of the Day of Culture Youth DX Adventure. Both appointments take effect on the 1st of July. Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the VK8MA repeater in the Northern Territory of Australia at 7 p.m. local time on Sundays. This is N2 and will be on the N2 JDW repeater. Now back to Newsline. A second national organization has been created in Ireland to help represent the interests and concerns of hams there. Jeremy Boot, G4NGH, tells us about it.
The Republic of Ireland has a new national non-profit organisation Ireland, was founded this year and has also become a member association of EUREO, the European Radio Amateurs Organisation. To serve further its amateur radio membership, the organisation also maintains the National Irish QSL Bureau. The National Radio Society of Ireland has opened its membership to anyone who either lives full-time in Ireland or has spent at least as a visitor and has an interest in amateur radio communication. The Society has tutors operating at 10 training centres across the country, but also provides online training, especially important during the COVID-19 pandemic. This is being done through a newly established networking portal called MyHam, which most recently has listed activities and events as a part of the Public Safety Stay Home campaign and its related radio activities. The new group arrives on the amateur radio scene in Ireland, where the Irish Radio Transmitters Society was established in 1932. The IRTS represents Ireland in the International Amateur Radio Union as one of 160 organisations representing ham radio interests and concerns worldwide. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
Formal notices recently went out to a number of hams concerning their operating behavior on the air. Believe it or not, these notices weren't just welcome, they were appreciated. Jim Dameron, N8TMW, has that report.
The notifications are called Good Operator Notices, and they're part of a volunteer monitor program established by an agreement between the FCC and the ARRL in the United States. The purpose? To acknowledge hams for exemplary on-air conduct and to encourage further compliance with FCC rules. Those notices went out recently to 17 operators in 15 states, according to Program Coordinator Wiley Hollingsworth, K4CDH. The notifications were sent out after a lot of listening in May, a total of 2,035 hours of monitoring on HF and 2,856 hours on VHF and other frequencies. Recipients included a 13-year-old in North Carolina for CW operation during a Youth on the Air special event, and a 14-year-old in Wyoming who was operating on SSB. Newcomers and veteran hams alike were recipients, Riley said. One operator in Pennsylvania received a notice for having established and run a 2-meter COVID-19 net on a repeater there. According to Riley, volunteer monitors are trained to look for the good operators as well as those whose on-air behavior requires a report to the FCC. The monitors have been keeping an ear to the bands since February 1st, when the program had its soft rollout, and is now fully operational. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jim Dameron, N8TMW.
Young hams in Australia and New Zealand may be getting a different way to spend their summer soon. Jim Meachins at L2BHF has been following this development.
The organisation is called Youngsters on the Air Oceania, and it's something of a youngster itself, having only come into being in late May of this year. Its members, however, can surely relate. They are the youngest ham radio operators in New Zealand and Australia, and they share a youthful devotion to radio operating and all it entails, from antenna building to participating in nets. Benjamin Isaacs, ZL2BCI, told Newsline he has created the group to fill a gap in services and mentoring for this next generation of hams. A safe place to ask technical questions or any questions at all relating to ham radio. Benjamin is also hopeful that by next summer there might be a YOTA Oceania camp, possibly held in Wellington, New Zealand's capital, or Auckland. He told Newsline that in its short lifetime, YOTA Oceania has already attracted more than 80 members. The group is also looking for adults who can offer skills, contact, and experience. Look for updates on the group's Facebook page and, of course, here on Newsline, where we will be reporting important developments as YOTA Oceania grows and matures. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Jim Meacham, for L2BHF.
In the world of the X, listen for John W5JON in St. Kitts, where he is using the call sign JA from Calypso Bay until July 2nd. He is operating from 160 meters to 6 meters using sideband and FT8. Send QSLs via Logbook of the World or send directly to his home call sign. Be listening for Giorgio, IU5HWS, who is on the air from Iraq. For him on 40, 20, and 10 meters. For details on his activation, visit his IU5HWS page on QRZ.com, which he is updating regularly. We close this week's report with a story that we hope proves uplifting amid the present turbulence in the world. What, after all, is more uplifting than a helium-filled mid-altitude balloon? Well, 4 such balloons, all equipped with solar panels and APRS transmitters. Ralph Skulachi, KK6ITB, brings us the tale.
On June 8th, Liam Kennedy, KN6EQU, became a big winner when his mid-altitude balloon crashed in a tree lake outside Liverpool, Nova Scotia, Canada. The balloon was one of 4 launched from the west coast of the U.S. just days earlier in a race across the continent that was part of an educational project for students during lockdown. For the California amateur, who has a long history supporting station's radio contact with students, this race against educators who are seasoned balloon competitors has him feeling a bit like a newbie.
When everyone launched, all of their balloons were way higher, going and I just wanted, just survive just go at least for another day.
That single day turned into several days, and Liam's balloon made it all the way to the Eastern time zone, crossing the finish line first.
I really didn't deserve to win in terms of what else but truth.
Humbled but happy when he did. His grand prize, sharing that victory with his friend, Ted Tagami, KK6UUQ of Magnitude.I. He funded the very balloon that beat him. Liam had also helped educators teach students dreams, weather predictions, and of course, ham radio. His other prize, finding joy in following the crash recovery days later as volunteers from the Annapolis Royal Space Agency, the Annapolis Valley Amateur Radio Club, and other hams in Nova Scotia retrieved the tracker, turning the expedition into an international effort.
This provided a type of community working together to recover something that is now going to add on some more interesting opportunities in learning going forward. So it's almost like paying it forward.
Community and a hopeful eye toward the future. 2 things as uplifting as those adventurous balloons themselves. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Ralph Skulachi, KK6ITB.
With thanks to Eris, Amateur News Weekly, the ARRL, CQ Magazine, David Behar, K7DB, DX World, Essex Ham, European Space Agency, the Mid-Somerset Amateur Radio Club, NASA, Ohio, Indiana, ShortwaveRadio.de, Southgate Amateur Radio News, Ted Randall's QSO Radio Show, Twitter, WTWW Shortwave, Youngsters on the Air Oceania, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. Please send emails to our address at newsline@arnewsline.org. More information is available at Amateur Radio Newsline's only official website at arnewsline.org. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2 GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Neil Rapp, WB9CPG in Bloomington, Indiana, saying 7-3. And as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2020, all rights reserved.
This is NCLB. Should stand by for a transcript